Today, we're moving way beyond just the drag and drop basics. We're actually going to architect a robust, production-ready system from the ground up, all inside n8n. So let's get our hands dirty. Okay, let's really dive in. We're not just connecting two apps here, we're building a whole intelligent process from start to finish. It kicks off with a simple user request, but by the time we're done, that request will have been enriched with new data, processed by an AI, and it'll trigger a real meaningful action. This is where automation gets truly powerful. So here's the big picture. At its heart, we're building a system that can take in some raw info and turn it into something that's fully processed, saved, and confirmed. You can almost think of it like a smart, totally reliable digital assembly line for your business. But before we can start building, we've got to know our tools, right? Every single workflow you create in n8n, I don't care how simple or how complex, is built from just 3 basic types of nodes. If you get these, you unlock everything. First up, you've got your trigger nodes. These are basically the ignition switch for your workflow. They're just sitting there, listening. Maybe for a new email, or for the clock to hit a certain time, or for an API call to come in. And as soon as that event happens, bam, the whole workflow roars to life. Next, we have the action nodes. Now, these are the workhorses. These are the nodes that actually do stuff out in the real world. They're the ones sending that Slack message, updating a customer in your CRM, or writing data into your database. They get things done. And finally, the logic and utility nodes. These are the brains of the whole operation. Now, unlike action nodes, they don't talk to other apps. Nope. Their job is to manage the data inside the workflow. They let you build complex data flows, create branching paths with if statements, and basically reshape your data however you need it. All right, so now we know our building blocks. Let's pull up the architectural blueprint for the exact system we're about to put together, piece by piece. And here it is, our complete roadmap. Data comes in through a webhook trigger, we immediately validate it, then we'll transform and enrich it. From there, it gets handed off to an AI, hits a decision point, and finally gets stored before we send out a nice little notification. Let's break this down. Let's kick things off with phase 1. And honestly, this is one of the most critical parts of the entire build, how we safely get data in and make sure it's good to go. We're going to start with a webhook node. That's our open door to the outside world, just waiting to catch requests. But, and this is crucial, right after that door, we're placing a security guard, a validation step to make sure the data coming in is clean and safe to work with. You know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out? Well, this is our filter. Our validation logic is going to check for all the required fields and make sure the data is in the right format. If it's not, we reject it right away and send back a helpful error message. This simple step prevents so much chaos from happening later on. Okay, so our data is now validated. We know we can trust it. That means we can confidently move on to phase 2, the core processing. This is where we get to transform it, enrich it, and apply some real intelligence. This phase has 3 key steps. First, we use a set node to get our data into a nice, consistent format. Then we enrich it. Maybe we call an internal API to get more info about a user. And finally, and this is the really fun part, we send it off to an AI model to do some advanced processing. And this is where things get really, really cool. When we add AI into the mix, we're moving past simple, rigid, if this, then that rules. By calling out to a large language model, we're jumping from basic logic into a world of dynamic, intelligent automation that can actually understand nuance and context. This slide shows an even more advanced and incredibly powerful idea. We can build what's called a retrieval augmented generation, or RAG system. Basically, instead of just letting the AI make stuff up, our workflow first goes and finds relevant documents from a knowledge base, your CRM, wherever, and then hands that context to the AI. This grounds the AI's response in actual facts, which is absolutely critical for any serious business use case. So after our data has been supercharged by the AI, we head into the final phase. It's time to make a decision based on those results and deliver the final outcome. So in this last leg, we use an if node to split our logic. For instance, if the AI flagged the request as high urgency, we could send it down one path. If not, it goes down another. Then we use a database node to store the results forever in something solid like Postgres. And finally, a notification node like email or Slack to let a human know what happened and close the loop. We've done it! We have a complete working workflow. But to make this thing truly ready for the real world, we need to talk about one more crucial thing. What happens when it breaks? Because let's be real, things will go wrong. An external API will go down, a database connection will time out, a simple workflow just stops, and you might even lose data. A production-grade system, on the other hand, has to be built for resilience. Now, you could try to handle some basic errors inside your main workflow with a bunch of IF nodes. But for a really robust system, n8n gives you a much better way, a dedicated global error workflow. This is a totally separate workflow that you set up to automatically run whenever any of your other workflows fail. It's so elegant, and it keeps your main logic clean and easy to read. Think of this dedicated workflow as your system's emergency response team. When something breaks, it can instantly log all the error details for you to check later, it can ping your team on Slack, and it can even try to automatically rerun the failed step a few times. This is how you build a system that can take a punch and keep on going. And beyond just that error workflow, real production systems have a few more tricks up their sleeve. We're talking about adding detailed logging at key points so you can see what's happening, monitoring performance to find bottlenecks, and using smart retry logic for those flaky APIs. You see, the big takeaway here is that we've moved beyond just stringing a few apps together. By thinking in terms of validation, processing, and error handling, we've actually architected a structured, reliable system that's way easier to manage and scale. So, by following these principles, smart design, AI processing, and really robust error handling, you now have the complete blueprint to turn simple automations into powerful, intelligent solutions that can handle pretty much anything. The only question left is, what complex process are you going to automate first?